We have Dr. Miranda Young-Jahangeer. Are you here? Are you
Yes,
ready?
well,
Yes. Hi, welcome.
hi.
So it is the
Hi,
popular
everybody.
participatory theater performance. That is your topic. So please feel free to introduce it.
Great. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I am Miranda Young-Jahangeer. I'm from Durban on the east coast of South Africa. And what you're going to see today is just an example of a form of theatre, applied theatre that we practice. I teach applied theatre at university level in the university there in Durban. And we decided to look at points of passion. And one of the kind of challenges that we have in South Africa is the issue of absent fathers, whether they're physically absent, emotionally absent, or sort of financially absent. Usually, this form has a big audience, but the students had gone on holiday, so we had to just gather a few people. So it's kind of like just you get a taster of what it is. It's in English, but there are 4 songs or 5 songs that are in isiZulu. So this form mixes song and theater. So just for translation, the first song it says we greet everybody in the household. The second song is about that we are suffering the sins of our fathers and we haven't done anything wrong. The third song says you are on the mountains of KwaZulu-Natal. Do you know what's happening? The fourth song is that all the maidens should come together and you're invited to a ceremony. Even the boys are invited. And the last one is talking about if you don't have the love of a family, it will be painful in the depths of your heart, and that the hills and mountains are no friends in situations like these. I will try and share. What do you suggest?
Sanibona nonke kulomuzi sanibona siyanibingelela sanibona nonke kulomuzi siyanibingelela sanibona nonke kulomuzi sanibona siyanibingelela sanibona nonke kulomuzi siyanibingelela. I'm Gasthanda Uhle.
I am Muratile Tonao.
I'm Sbahle Mdlalose.
I am Ole Tunala.
I am Steno Mabaso.
I am Nonzozo Gina.
And we are the PPT students from the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban,
South Africa.
And the theme of our play is fatherhood. And the title of the play is Sins of Fathers. Osifela macalo bab asonanga thina. Osifela macalo bab asonanga thina. Sifela macalo bab asonanga thina. Sifela macalo bab asonanga thina. Sifela matalo baba sona empilweni bunzima sifela matalo baba asona ngathina sifela matalo
Sihlale sivikise igqamu
asona
sibanje kunzima ekhaya
sifela matalo
siyababonayo bathi ufune komalume
asona
komalume ababhekeli
I'm just a woman with a small shaken voice. I want to speak, but my words are not complete. I'm just a woman. Your hands are rough, your voice is too heavy, your words cut me down in 2 pieces. I had enough. I'm just a woman. I want to smile and laugh. My dreams belong to me, not to you. I'm just a woman. Yes, I'm just a woman. Mkhulu, could you please tell me a story that I've never ever heard before?
Oh, my my granddaughter. You want me to tell you a story, eh?
Yebo mkhulu.
Oh, let me tell you a story of long years ago when South Africa was very, very old. There was a man who had 45 wives.
45 wives mkhulu.
Yes, 45 wives. And he was very, very respected because he was used violence to get them in line.
Violence.
Yes, he was used violence. That is how the old man used violence to build a strong family with full of respect.
Hayi mkhulu.
I tell you, and that is what I do to my boys. That is how I teach them.
How, Baba? How can you teach a child something like this? What violence is this?
You call our culture violence, yeah?
Dad, why don't you have a relationship like father and daughter?
I don't have to answer nonsense.
But Dad, why do you think our relationship is nonsense?
I'm busy. I pay for your school fees, medical aid, everything, eh?
But my friends have relationship with their fathers.
Then if you want to have a relationship or talk, go and talk to your bloody friends and your bloody mother. Leave me alone, man.
Okay, can I tell you something? I have a boyfriend.
What? A boyfriend? Oh, that means we are old now. You can take your own decisions, eh? I'm disowning you as my child. Your boyfriend will pay for your school fees, will pay for your medical aid, for taking my house.
Wena usezindaweni zikaZulu. Umkhosi abantu kanti abawuzwanga zifunda nithulele nini. Luyamemeza usuthu.
Uyamazuzulu,
Yamazozolo, Yamazozolo, Yamazozolo,
Yamazuzulu, Yamazuzulu.
Women, please excuse us. You two boys, now you have a nerve to call a meeting.
Not exactly that. You taught us that we should build families, right?
Yeah,
And now our families are falling apart because of your lessons, Mama.
my lessons.
Yes, Father. Your teachings, they are no longer working on our families anymore.
Yes. Growing up, Baba, I have no connection with you, either communication. You know, my daughter has been complaining about that.
Oh, now you try me to tell me that you are controlled by your wives.
No, we're not controlled by our wives. Here, Dad, we're trying to build a good family with good connection and communication, not being controlled.
Exactly.
Hi, man. That is how we teach by our great-grandfather, man.
Yes, Dad. But things have changed.
Yeah, things have changed. Father, this is 21st centuries, not 19th centuries. Your era ended long time ago.
Hey, man. If you want to build a strong family, you must beat these women, man. You don't want to be respected, eh? You don't want to be respected, man.
No, Father. I mean, yes, we want to be respected, but not through your teachings, Father. Father, my wife seemed to believe in me. I have done everything for her, and I'm tired of beating her like a punching bag. I have done everything. I have not moved from there to there without I think to please her, but still, an everlasting feral marches round her heart. I cannot speak, but I'm doubted, Father.
Oh, now you try to tell me that our culture is changed to be a punching bag of women, eh? We beat these fucking women to build a strong family, man. Hi, man. I did not raise you like this, man. Now you are very, very stupid, man. You are very, very weak. Oh, now I see. It is your mother's lessons, eh? Make you very, very weak, man. Make you very, very weak. Hi, man. Follow my lessons to build a strong family. So follow my lessons, man.
I have something that is very important that I need to tell you. Please sit down.
That sounds serious.
Yes, it is very important. I'm thinking. I'm not thinking. I am living this marriage. My husband has been abusive to me all of these years, and I'm tired, and I have taken my decision.
Don't be silly. As a woman, we should prioritize our families and their responsibility. We should not abandon our husbands.
Yes. Mama, you can't just decide to leave just because my father is beating you.
She's right. You can't leave. Remember, you built this house. You made this family. Why you let small things separate you?
His hands are not small. The pain is not small. The anger is not small. I've carried this family, but I cannot carry his fist.
But Mom, will I ever see my dad again? I love him.
I'm finally free from this toxic relationship. I'm leaving the scars behind, and I am carrying the lessons. I have to choose myself. And maybe you will see your dad if he wants. But for me, I'm living, and I'm living with you.
How you guys go?
Lama kuma nezindaba akungani makunjena lama kuma nezindaba akungani makunjena umungenalo uthando lomndeni kuba kuhlungu ejuleni kwenhliziyo yini mama 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 wow yini mama 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 lama nezindaba akungani makunjena.
Sanibonani nonke, which means hello all in isiZulu, a South African language. My name is Ukhayeli Hlengu. Okay, so you just finished watching this beautiful play that we've worked on during class because one of the themes that came up was fatherhood, and we decided, well, let's make a play about it. And did you, when watching the play, did you feel like any of the situations were familiar for our South African context and in your families?
Yes, very familiar, because I believe that this is someone's truth, not necessarily my own, but I believe that people do think that violence does make a change or does do some positive change. I disagree with that. I don't think violence is a solution for anything, actually, whether you're a child or woman, because, well, people are grown, they're not kids, you can't control them. You can't control kids with violence, and you shouldn't control anything with violence, and that's my opinion.
I think we also have very high GBV rates in South Africa, so this was quite a real illustration of that. Yeah, so it's interesting to see also the men being trained to practice it, because I don't know, it made me wonder if it's their fault or if it's a very deep-rooted issue that goes like way, way, way back. Do we blame them? How do we then start to think about it?
I also thought it was interesting how the women were also, in a way, part of the problem.
Yes.
Because they had been kind of submerged into this reality of believing that that's how it has been and that's how it should be. So even though they all experienced the trauma of the violence, the women were also kind of saying to her that she should put up with it. You know, and the concern of the child that she would then not see her father. I don't know if that's something that's real. It seems that there is a lot of absentee fatherhood situation. Yeah.
The next question I have is, as you saw, spousal abuse is a very prominent issue in South Africa, as one of our audience members has stated. GBV is one of our biggest problems. Do you think that the spousal abuse is a necessary means to keeping women in line?
No, it is not any means to keep anything or anyone in line. Surely there are other ways. Because the problem is, as we saw on the play, I think, is that it is a deep-rooted issue. It's got nothing to do with the women. It's something to do with the men. Something must be done about the men growing up that must teach them that you don't keep people in line. You're not a soldier. So, yeah.
Can we also go back to this grandfather/father's behavior? Is this a safe environment for these children, for these women and his sons that are being indoctrinated to believe that violence is the way?
Yeah, I think they're all trapped by the situation. You know, it's like, it seems that the husbands, they feel like if they don't do it, they're somehow betraying they're betraying their father, and they're betraying their culture.
Yes.
So the implication is that if they try a different way, it's like they're not being like good Zulu men.
Yes.
And yet it's not working for them, because they're not able to keep their families together with this behavior. But yeah, I mean, going to what Talent says, I don't know where it begins. It's definitely a patriarchal challenge, and imagining that women have to be kept in line, in order. But maybe casting blame is not helpful. We just have to realize that collectively it doesn't work for anybody.
I also think that the one thing men or Zulu men or our Gunu men don't want to be seen as is weak. So to be in the same line as your wife, you are seen as weak. So if you're in a space of negotiation with your spouse, with your wife, that means you are weak. She's always got to be one level down. So to be in line, but you don't see the benefits of being on the same level as your wife, because you've got to keep her down. So I think they just need to understand the reality of being in a marriage, that what it means, but I don't know what that will take.
I don't know if there's any men who have something to say.
Men on the stage and man in the audience.
Do you have anything to say?
Do you?
On behalf of all men. all Zulu men.
I don't have much to say, but I would say most of our diseases are violent because of the trauma sometimes, maybe how they've been the way he is. It's okay, the only way to fix or to ends exactly what I'm shy, it's the way we violent. It's how abanye abakhuliswe ngamakhaya ukuthi this is the only way you fix things. And yeah, that's why they are.
And it's sad because no good relationship in a household where the father is violent can grow. So the kids won't be healthy children mentally, psychologically, physically too sometimes, if they grow up around fear and anxiety the whole time. So the relationships will all be compromised in that household.
But I remember early in the conversation when we were working on this, we had a discussion and talking about the cycle of violence.
Is it a generational trauma?
Yeah, and how behavior is learned, and it's often the boy children that then are taught to emulate the father, which is the sins of the father, and then bring it onto the children, and so the cycle continues.
After watching the play, do you feel there are any standout points for you in the piece that you've just witnessed, and why?
I
I mean, I liked seeing the woman think for herself because it's very
Yes.
easy to be trapped into culture and how things have always been, and for her to just say, yo, I think maybe I just want to end this. I like that.
I liked about the sons when they came back and they told me to know it's not working for us, because I think that Babylon, this is not the way which most of probably listen in South Africa. They have to see that it's not the way of cleansing. Violence is not the solution.
It's not the solution. Anything else? Audience, cast members, what stood out for you in the performance?
Adding from his point, it's us as sons, as we went to our father, like to negotiate now. That this tendency of working with violence towards women, it's not working. It's breaking our families.
For me, violence is not a way to fix things. So I think communication is
Yes. Can I share my point as well?
Yes.
So my favorite point was the sons coming into speaking with their dad. As much as he chases the woman away, I think they did create a space of communication. Like, oh, dad, here's what we're going through, and what do you think? And he just completely shushes it, and it goes back to the whole generational trauma thing. That how dare my sons try educate me about something I feel so strongly about. Yeah.
But they were brave.
And they were very
And
brave.
they did it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, now to close off, are there any solutions for the characters in these performances? Yes, the wife leaves, the sons, they leave it open-ended for us to think of it ourselves. But what are solutions you can give to the characters in the performance?
First of all, I think when you're married, you should treat your household as the beginning. So what you carry in, you've got to sit and think through what works and what doesn't work in your little household. So be careful what you take in to your relationships leaving your home. I think that's something to think about, that both of you, your teachings from home, you've got to check if they work for you in your little family, and then like reconfigure the rules in your household with your wife and your kids. I think that's very important, to just like talk it through and work through things. It's very important in your little household, so that all the things that you're bringing in, everyone is aware of, and you can work through. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like as much as you have a broader culture, you also have to make our own culture.
Yes,
and figure out what works for my household. Yeah. But it's
What solutions, like what solutions would you give the characters to their problems?
I mean, for me, I think there were beginnings already, which is communication. You know, that when the sons decided to approach the patriarch, and even though he was resistant, you know, sometimes you can't change people.
He will start thinking.
But they
they
could
make a big
change.
step forward.
And the children can also change.
Thank you so much for watching our play, and thank you so much to our beautiful audience. And that was PPT in South Africa.
How do they
Waiting for cards.
You know, it's like an international audience.
Okay, thank you. So this was, I mean, really, really good. Fortunately, something happened to my speakers, so I didn't hear some of it.
Some of it was a bit soft because actually it started to rain really hard about halfway through the play. So you might have heard a sort of like in the background, and yeah, it was heavy rain outside, and yeah, we were working off a cell phone, technological problems. So apologies for that.
No, of course, that happens. People are congratulating you. It's really wonderful. I also agree. Now we will host again a short Q&A sessions, 10 to 15 minutes. So please, anybody who has any questions or comments, you can raise your hand and you can join virtually, or you can tap in chat and I will read it. But I will start with Miranda. So can you explain more about this participatory theater?
So it's sort of it is pedagogically informed by Paulo Freire's problem posing education. So we use the play to pose a problem and then to catalyze a conversation, usually with an audience can be anywhere from, in this case, it was like 6 people, but it can be, sometimes up to 150. And there are different ways that you can have that sort of engagement with the audience. You can either just do it through conversation, or you can break up into discussion circles and then feedback. It's up to you. But it is just something that, there's some kind of an issue or concern that the audience can relate to. And we just try to tease out those challenges through a conversation, which is facilitated to get a varied opinions and etc. And then the performance style is influenced by the local culture. So in our case, it would be like Zulu popular culture, or just generally African popular culture. So we draw on familiar songs and things like that. But depending on the context, it would just draw on the popular culture of the given environment.
Great. And how do you usually choose topics that you...
So we usually choose topics. So we talk about a sort of allow it to emerge. So it's through a dialogue, a facilitated conversation, where we talk about things that bothering us or things that excite us. In the past, I've got students to also write like tanker poems about things that it's on their minds, and it often just emerges that way. We have sometimes sort of, if there's a larger project or something happening, like if we've had, for instance, like a big HIV/AIDS conference, we might decide to look at that because it's something that's going on around us. So sometimes it comes from the outside in, but mostly, and it should really emerge from the community of concern.
Yeah, that's great. So it's like a process where the whole community is actually engaged in some way.
Yeah. So it's sociodrama, and I mean, you were speaking earlier about this idea of being sort of psychology, and I mean, I think art itself is therapeutic, and but with this kind of theater, it's not trying to see an individual's sort of, although individually we do experience the trauma, but it's also like a sort of a collective experience. So we're not trying to fix a specific person because they're going through something that's, also, like psychodrama. It's more looking generally at a social issue, and then using the theater to get everyone's opinion and thoughts on it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I will have also a question for Solomon and Africanus. Of course, people, please ask questions, write comments. It's all good. Don't be scared about this. This is why we are having these sessions, to discuss what we heard before. So for Solomon and Africanus, I will ask you that, so you use, of course, film and theater as educational materials, but how much do your students learn about film and theater, and how much do they learn about the topic that you are going through? Because this was really about the heritage, and I think it was a really good topic. So
Africanus, please, will you start it, please?
Sorry?
No, I'm asking Mr. Africanus if you start.
Okay.
Oh, good morning, everybody. The students that we use this particular production for are secondary school students, and they didn't necessarily have to learn film, because this is not a production for film studies, so to speak, or film courses. It is to help them understand the text, which was a requirement for the West African Examination Council's exam that they were supposed to take for the core English. So the production was to help them visualize what the playwright has indicated in the play, so that they can visualize the various scenes, they can visualize the characters, and also be able to memorize some of the lines that were there. It wasn't meant for film studies course or theater studies course. It was meant for the secondary school students to understand the dramatic text that they were supposed to study. Solomon.
Yeah, so for me as an international school teacher, please, I hope you can hear me clear. For me as an international school teacher, I took advantage of this also and used this particular film to help my students, because sometimes they are supposed to pick a text that they are not familiar with. So they are supposed to work on live performances and other things, but these types of plays are rarely staged for some time now. So they took advantage to watch it and then used it in preparing their production proposal. So I've not done it with a film, but my theater students watched it. And looking at that against digital theater, through the product they put across, the difference is not too much. So I was just aligning it in that form because it qualifies in somewhat as a nice performance. Thank you.
Thank you. This is really cool and good. You use it as a really good tool for learning, but do you also think that you have moved some of the children to be interested in film and media and arts by learning through it, by using it as a learning tool? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, generally the Ghanaian children or the Ghanaian secondary school students do watch films a lot, both at the cinema halls and then also on television and also on their mobile devices. So they are used to film and they have high interest in film, and especially now that we have social media on the rise, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube and the rest. They watch a lot of films there. So that's why this particular project that we did was very attractive to them and then help them in their studies. But like I had already explained, because it was meant to support their study in a dramatic text, we restricted the viewing of the film to students who have already studied the text, so that they know the text from the playwright's point, and that is what they are going to be examined in the West Africa Examination Council's exam, and not what they see in the film. The film was supposed to help them understand, the text. So we tried to restrict them from watching the film first before studying the text. The other way around, study the text and then watch the film. That was what happened.
Thank you for explaining this. Really cool. And I will also have a question for Miranda. For you and your students, what is your audience? How do you reach the audience? How often do you meet with the audience?
So, so I do quite a lot of work in prisons, and so we will do this kind of theatre in the prison, and then often the audience are the other groups. So everybody is a participant. So we might have 3 plays with 10 people in, and then we are part of the audience for the other plays. When I do it with students, we will also perform it for each other, but then invite the broader student community to come through, and they will discuss issues relating to student life. So, you know, issues of housing or funding and all of those kinds of things, and it will be relevant to them. So it's either that we're performing for each other, and maybe just broadening it, but it's the idea is that the audience is not really an audience. They're also participants. And usually, like when we do it in the prison, everybody will be involved in warm-up games and exercises, so that there's a feeling in the room of, you know, openness, and the conversation flows easy. You know, as you can see, it's hard to get people to jump in. And if you do this kind of process in the beginning, it makes the conversation very alive and dynamic. So yeah, that's kind of how it works.